here for too long. I don't know what else to do. I wanna get away from every little thing just to try to make it through. I've been thinking about my options, every detail in my head, but it doesn't really matter, nothing matters, so I cry instead. I've been running circles, trying to catch my breath. I've been trying everything I can, but I ain't got nothing left. I've been staring at the ceiling, I've been staying up all night. Everything I ever worked for vanished in the blink of an eye. I've been asking every question, 'cause I haven't got a clue. Why's it gotta be me? What the hell am I supposed to do? I've been running circles, trying to catch my breath. I've been trying everything I can, but I ain't got nothing left. And I know there's so much more to this life, but it's hard to see it clearly. Yeah, I tried my best, but nothing turns out right. God, I need you now so dearly, 'cause I've been running circles, trying to catch my breath. I've been trying everything I can, but I ain't got nothing left. I've been running circles, trying to catch my breath. I've been trying everything I can. I ain't got nothing left. Nothing left. Nothing left.
Hey guys, it's Ciara and welcome to another vlog. It is currently Monday evening and I have to say that when I finished work today I was feeling very low on energy, very low on motivation, and I didn't really have any plans in mind except for watching Malcolm in the Middle and scrolling on TikTok. And that is because I went to the gym this morning and I didn't have anything else on the agenda for today. So technically I could have gotten away with just spending the evening watching TV and going on TikTok, but I was just feeling a little bit meh. And this is also the last Monday in my life where I'll ever be 23. It's my last few days of the age of 23, and I didn't want to spend those last few days of this year being boring, basically. So straight after work I got in the shower as an attempt to try and refresh myself, which definitely worked. But whilst I was also in the shower I spent a bit of time drawing in the steam on the shower glass window, as I do every time I get in the shower, because what better way to express yourself artistically than drawing in steam. But then it kind of inspired me, because I was very pleased with my steam art, to actually dig out my watercolour paints, which I haven't used since moving house. I got really into watercolouring for a few weeks at the beginning of the year, and then we moved house and they've kind of just been sitting in a cupboard since moving to this place. But I dug them out and I made a piece that was very much inspired by a very random swirly spiral drawing that I did on the shower glass, and honestly I'm very happy with it. It literally is so abstract. It's just a load of shapes filled with different colours, but it was just so much fun to do, and I didn't watch any TV while I was doing it, I didn't listen to anything, and it was just very therapeutic to just paint for a while, and it made me feel so much better about the evening because I felt like it was just a really nice way to spend some time. And given that, like I said, it's the last few days of me being 23, it seemed nice to return to one of the hobbies that I picked up this year in the last year of my life. So did a bit of watercolouring, and now that I'm feeling a little bit more pepped up and creative and just like I'm having more of a good time, I thought I would also head upstairs and decide what book to read. So based on, again, the inspiration of my beautiful shower drawing turn painting that I did as an inspiration from that, I ended up settling on Nick Hornby's Just Like You, because the collection of random shapes and colours that make up this cover just felt like a similar vibe to the painting that I just did. So that was one inspiration for choosing this book, and then I also picked it up quite recently at Waterstones, and it sounds very interesting. Nick Hornby is an author whose books I have enjoyed previously, and this one sounds like it's about an unlikely romance, which always makes for an interesting novel. So the plan of action for the rest of the evening is as follows: make hot chocolate, do some reading, and then naturally I'm going to do some TikTok scrolling because it's me and it just wouldn't be an evening without a bit of TikTok. But if I've painted and read before then I think it's okay.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's
Oh my god, I swear to God, there's nothing more humbling than the fact that I, as someone who goes to the gym every single day, would consider myself kind of fit, relatively healthy, get out of breath from just forgetting something that I need for filming and having to run downstairs and then back upstairs with it. I don't understand how fitness doesn't translate, but I go to the gym every day for like an hour to an hour and a half and I love it, but Jesus Christ, it doesn't seem to be helping me in terms of my general cardiovascular fitness and just being able to run up the stairs because, whoo lordy. But anyway, it is now Tuesday and I am so excited about my plans for this evening. It is Tuesday the 18th of May to be specific, and yesterday on the 17th of May in England there was another lifting of lockdown restrictions. So this started in April where we started leaving lockdown 3 and it's been sort of progressed through now, and then the final lifting is supposed to be in the middle of June when things are supposed to go back to normal. But this one on the 17th of May is what a lot of people, myself included, have been very excited for because it means that you can sit inside cafes, sit inside restaurants, go to the cinema or the theatre, and you can also have people in your house. And that means that my friend, who a lot of you will know from her channel, A Little Writer she can actually come over into the house for dinner, and that's what we're doing tonight, which I'm so excited about because we've been living in York now for 3 months. We moved in March and hasn't been able to come and see the inside of our house because of obviously being in lockdown, so I'm very excited for her to actually come inside and also to meet Oscar because she is a cat person and I think she will love him. I'm sure she'll love Gatsby as well, but obviously she's a cat person, so I have a feeling she's gonna hit it off with Oscar and I'm just so excited about that. So I just finished work for the day and I just wanted to quickly catch up with you guys, but then I'm gonna run out, meet go get some food that we're going to make for dinner and then come back here, and we have 2 very exciting things on the agenda aside from eating, which is obviously the most exciting of all. First up, we are going to watch Made in Chelsea with dinner because we both love Made in Chelsea and it's just so fun to do it together. I cannot wait. And then secondly, Em and I, for anyone that doesn't know, have a podcast together which is called We're Spinning Plates. We started this podcast in November of last year, so we started it just as lockdown 2 happened, and we were in lockdown 2, then it kind of lifted for Christmas very briefly, and then we went straight back into lockdown at number 3. So the whole time that we've had this podcast, which is 6 months now, that's so crazy, it's been lockdown, so we have never been able to film an episode together, but tonight is the first time that we'll actually be able to record where we're both sitting in the same room. So those are the exciting plans for the evening and I cannot wait. But very briefly, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about Just Like You, which I started yesterday evening. I only read 32 pages, so not a lot, but what I read so far has been enough to intrigue me. Like I mentioned, it's basically about a sort of unlikely romance, and a romance that maybe attracts some negative attention, because we have our two main characters, Lucy, who is an older, not old, but just like in her 30s or 40s woman. She is divorced and she has 2 kids, and then she meets Joseph, who works at a butcher that she goes to regularly, and he's also a babysitter. And Joseph is a lot younger than her. I think he's like university age, so between like 18 and 21 is the vibe that I'm getting, although I don't think either of their specific ages have actually been mentioned yet, but you just get the impression that Lucy is middle-aged and Joseph is an adult, but a younger adult. So they meet, and so far there's been no romantic inclination between them. They just kind of have been talking, and it's very much just like a transactional thing where he offers to babysit her kids one night and she's like, yep, that's great because I want to go out, and that is as far as we've gotten. But on the blurb of the book there's a little like section of the novel, and it basically starts with, I'm seeing the woman that I babysit for. So we know where it's heading. I just don't know what's going to happen once it kicks off. So I'm definitely going to try and do some reading later on. Just depends how long M is here for, but very excited to see where the rest of this novel goes. But for now, heading out to meet M, and I'm so excited. So cute.
We're going to be besties.
Hold on tight, found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. Oh, you and I, we got it. Oh, we don't need no more. Oh, even in the hard times, you and I can weather any storm. Before I sleep, hear the crickets, see the moon, side by side and through. No limit to what we can do. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. Oh, you and I, we got it. Oh, we don't need no more. Oh, even in the hard times, you and I can weather any storm. You and I, we got it. We don't need no more. Even in the hard times, you and I can weather any storm. Oh my child, I know you're hurt and you can't let go. It's not your fault and you don't deserve all the bad and the hurt. I know you tried so hard. I know you've done your part. It's not fair. You did your time. How much longer will you suffer in this life? But don't give up, just hold on tight. It'll be alright. All your life you've tried to be a good man inside. Did everything that you thought you should.
Well, if that is not a visual representation of how I feel, I don't know what is. I am so tired today. It's now Wednesday evening, just finished work for the day, and I am so ready for bed. It's like 6:30, but I could 100% go to sleep for the evening right now and be quite happy with it because I'm just so tired. But I am going to try and at least stay awake for a couple more hours because, you know, I'm not that old yet that I think I can get away with going to sleep at 6:30 in the evening. But the plan of action for this evening was to spend it reading, but then after I finished work I ended up putting on Grey's Anatomy, and a couple of hours later here we still are because I just think it's such an easy show to just fall into. I love it, but I haven't watched it for ages because it is a dangerous show for me for that exact reason. Every time I start watching it, it's just like a void that takes up my entire life. But Jay's at work this evening, I'm home alone, I haven't got any plans, and I also have run out of other shows that I'm in the middle of watching. Like, I was kind of watching a few other things, but aside from Made in Chelsea and Call the Midwife, both of which I'm watching one a week because they're like currently being released, I was kind of stuck for things to watch, so I thought that I would open up Grey's Anatomy once again and just accept that it's going to take over my life. So I've been watching some Greys, but I am planning on doing some reading, and I do have a little reading update to share with you all because I'm now on page 101 of Just Like You. This book is fine. I'm not loving nor hating it. It's like very easy to read. It's quite a lot of dialogue, which I always think makes a book go quite quickly. And we're now at a point where these two main characters have found out their ages are 22, which is Joseph's age, and then 42, which is Lucy's age, and they are kind of like kickstarting the romantic part of their relationship. It does kind of seem a bit random, like there's not really a huge amount of lead up to it. Like, he's just babysitting for her kids and they kind of both fancy each other, and there's not really a huge amount of build up aside from the fact that they're both kind of attracted to each other and they have a bit of a connection, and so they've literally just kickstarted their relationship and taken it to another level. So I think the next section of the book is probably going to be about, you know, the like public response to that, and basically whether they decide to take it further, make it a more serious thing, or keep it casual. But I'm guessing, seeing as there's a whole book about it, the likelihood is it's going to end up being a more serious thing. So I'm going to do a bit more reading this evening, definitely going to watch some more Grey's Anatomy. I think I'm going to eat some chocolate, drink some tea, and just chill out because I'm tired.
Didn't seem to do you any good. I know you've tried so hard. I know you've done your part. It's not fair. You did your time. How much longer will you suffer in this life? But don't give up, just hold on tight. It'll be alright. I know you tried so hard.
Happy Thursday, guys. It is officially my last day of being 23 years old, so that's fun, but it is also my last official work day of the week, and I'm very excited for a long weekend. I have a 4-day weekender booked off the Friday and Monday, piggybacked onto my usual Saturday and Sunday off, and I just feel like a long weekend just feels like such a treat, like more so than if I just booked off 4 days, Monday to Thursday, for example. I just think when it's like extending a weekend, it just feels so great. So I'm very excited for a long weekend, and I am going to be filming my birthday vlog separately, starting this evening with my first birthday celebration and going right through the weekend. But before I finish up this reading vlog and get started on the birthday celebrations, I wanted to give you one final reading update because I just finished up with Just Like You by Nick Hornby. Absolutely adore the cover of this book. I just think it's so beautiful, as I mentioned when I picked it up. But I have to say the actual book itself was just okay. It wasn't a terrible reading experience. There were certainly parts that were enjoyable, and it wasn't a bad book, but it's just one that I don't think is going to be particularly sticking with me now that I've finished it. I don't think it was a massively impactful read, and partially that might be down to the fact that it was about a topic in terms of relationships that isn't really relatable to me, but even still, I've read lots of books about people in various circumstances that are not circumstances I can like personally relate to, and still found myself really invested. So I just think in this case it just wasn't necessarily like the book for me, but I still would give it a good 3 stars. It was obviously predominantly about the relationship between Joseph and Lucy, and most importantly their big age gap being 20 years between them. And I think what this book really dives into is how relationships can feel as though they're supposed to be between just 2 people, but when you really dive into them, you have to look at your relationships as like a web of connections, and how you kind of obviously invest in one person, but by extension then find yourself getting involved in every other person that they know, and other people who you maybe wouldn't have even ever come into contact with become part of your inner circle. And so things like age gaps are really important in this situation, because obviously there's the 2 people in the relationship who are willing to try and make it work regardless of that age gap, but then they're sort of held back by the thought of what other people in their little web of connections may think. And I just think it does a really great job of exploring how interconnected we are with everyone around us, and things like romances, or romances that are maybe a little bit out of the norm or out of the ordinary, really draw our attention to the fact that our webs and connections and relationships are so much wider than maybe we would have otherwise thought. Because I think when everything is going smoothly, you don't necessarily think about the impact of when something you do isn't like, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but like I feel like if things are going well in your life, in your relationships, you don't have to spend time thinking about what everyone else thinks. Whereas when you enter into a situation where you know it might attract some controversy, suddenly you become hyper aware of everyone else's opinions. And so particularly in the case of Joseph and Lucy, I think it's really interesting because you might expect that the younger party, Joseph, would be more embarrassed or worried about what his peers or family might think, but actually it's quite the opposite. Joseph is a much more laid back, chill, go with the flow kind of character, whereas Lucy cannot seem to live in the present moment, and she is constantly thinking about, first of all, whether Joseph will change his mind about whether he likes her, but then second of all, what other people will think, how it will reflect on her, and she just cannot live in the present moment. So this book really dives into their relationship over the span of quite a few years, and just sort of exploring how this obsession with whether or not their relationship is acceptable impacts the actual viability of the relationship. And amongst that, there's also a few different conversations about culture and race and other things that kind of bring you into that conversation of how your web of connections and how the opinions of your family and friends also impact your experience in a relationship. But for the most part, the age gap is the key focus, and I definitely thought it was interesting. I just wasn't super invested in or connected to either of the main characters, but it was definitely an interesting read, and I'm glad that I picked it up. Just wasn't one that's going to be like a favourite, but that's okay, not every book is going to be a favourite, and I'm glad that I have finished a book this week because that's always a win, even if it's not a new fave. So with that in mind, as I mentioned, I'm going to be starting a new vlog later on this evening because I'm going out for my birthday meal with Jay and Em and Sarah, and I'm very, very excited for it, although we are going somewhere with outdoor seating and it is raining as it has done for the majority of this week. So that'll be fun, but you'll be able to see all of that in next week's vlog. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.